Well, the movie starts with the Runnymede and the signing of the Magna Carta, where he was forced to sign this charter that released all these barons from paying taxes and certain oppressive judicial from the oppressive judicial system and things like that. And so it starts with that, and Brian Cox plays a baron who gathers an army to defend himself because John begins traveling around the country hammering all these guys who signed the charter. And I pick up a mercenary army because nobody's going to fight for me because they all hate me. So I pick up an army of kind of, I don't know what the hell they are, barbarian, I don't know, they're some kind of Baltic barbarians, I'm not sure what they are. But I get a kind of thuggish army behind me. I go up against a small band that Brian gathers around him of these kind of ragtag guys and it all culminates at Rochester Castle, which was actually a real event, and this whole thing sort of did culminate at Rochester Castle, and he besieged the castle pretty viciously, and ended up taking it, but died shortly afterwards. I play King John, who has inherited a kind of a mess of the throne. There's been all kinds of fighting over it within his own family, basically. He's a bastard through the whole thing in a lot of ways. I mean, hopefully, I mean, it's fun to play a bastard, and it's fun to play a bad guy, and in a lot of ways, that's really what he's meant to be. But you see a guy who's really kind of a mediocre king and a mediocre human being, and he's kind of a bureaucrat. I mean, what he was really good at was keeping records of everything. And so I have these guys following me around all the time, and I'm constantly whispering them to write everything down, and he was just a kind of record keeper. That was what he was really good at, was sort of organizing, but he wasn't much other than that. And so he kind of acted out of his mediocrity and became terribly tyrannical and violent. I play the character with some sympathy to him, or some clear motive to him that, you know, whether or not people will find it sympathetic, I don't know. I mean, it's kind of hard to sympathize with somebody who thinks he's God's agent on Earth so he can smash anybody he wants. But, you know, I mean, there are moments in it, especially towards the end, even after I have a kind of very sort of psychotic episode where I butcher all these people, where I try to justify myself. You know, I don't know how successful the justification is that my father taught me to chop people's hands off at the slightest sign of any kind of rebellious spirit, to just chop their hands off. But, you know, clearly these people were trained to be brutal if they had to be, or at least these guys did, at least this man did. I don't have to do a whole lot of the sword fighting in this movie. I mean, I sit around and sort of say, cut that guy's tongue out and hang that guy, and only at the end do I really start participating in cutting people up. But I didn't need a whole lot of training to take an axe and chop somebody's hand off.